Then they
Wait
came
for
back.
anything.
Well,
7 o'clock, we open the meeting.
Go tax.
Call the meeting to order.
I'm gonna shut up.
Yes, okay, good. 7 o'clock, time to start our math meeting. Let the secretary note that we did open the meeting on time.
Did I say you did? Oh, just right now when I need to make a phone call.
Yeah, I don't care about your phone.
Talk to Randy Preston.
That's my fault. There's water sitting on top of it because I was gonna bring it here.
Linda, control yourself. Approval of minutes of regular meeting, last meeting. Where are the minutes? Are they back there?
Yeah.
Has everyone had a chance to look at them, or do you want a chance to look at them? You want to take a minute? We'll go on hold for a couple minutes while you look at the minutes. If not,
I'd like to look at the minutes.
okay.
Did
Please.
you get
Do you
posted?
have to deliver them to you, or what?
No, she's bringing it.
Oh,
Would you like a copy too, sir? It was emailed to you.
Thank you.
minutes? Yeah, I'll have to do
It was on the thing.
While we're reading the minutes of this May 12th, I want to make a comment on, we had an inquiry regarding the minutes of May 12th? No, May 6th, April, regarding whether or not this body had voted to support or deny the support for the quick change loop at store 24. The member that had the query thought that we had voted against that. And so I went back and reviewed the film, and we did not vote against it. We didn't discuss it. What happened was, I was standing right there, and I said, with your permission, I will ask the Board of Supervisors to keep us informed on that matter so that we can discuss it down the road. But the issue tonight is Dollar General, and that was on film. So we did not vote for or against the quick loop that's supposedly going to be in the works for.
I'd like to go on record as objecting to that. I disagree with that. I went back and looked at the video, and 66 and a half minutes into the video, we took a vote to obstruct that. We didn't do that for the Art Center. We just did that for the Jiffy Lube, you know?
No.
So sorry.
It was Dollar
You
General.
have to go back a little farther.
You have to go further back in the minutes, or back in the video.
You go further
66
back
and a
in
half
the-
minutes into the video, and for the next 60 seconds, we took a vote to
We took a
obstruct
vote.
that vote. Yeah.
We took a vote that said we wanted to have a say in it.
Yeah,
That's
well-
what it was not to obstruct it.
Yeah, but see, we didn't do that for other businesses that have come to town, and I'm wondering, why was this business singled out? He's a member of our community, why wasn't he given the same benefit?
Here's the deal. It's not been proposed, it's not out there yet. There's no nothing to look at, so.
Well, there's
And
not,
we
so I
just got
just don't think we should
information
have a
that
vote.
night. We just got information that it was even gonna
So-
happen that
Well,
night.
exactly, so I don't think we should have a vote until we at least extend the courtesy of saying, why don't you come and talk to us about what you're talking about doing?
Absolutely.
But
I
we
think we
didn't
just
vote
need to
to
streamline
obstruct
the
it.
policy.
didn't
We
vote
did not
to
vote
obstruct
to
it.
obstruct it. I watched the video too.
Well, my take on that is different than. I think
And
we
you need
should-
to watch it again and listen to what was said, because we did not vote to obstruct it.
Well, we took a vote. Can we at least agree that
We
we voted on
took a
something?
vote, but
We
the vote
voted.
was that Matt wanted to be kept in the loop on it.
Okay, well, see, we don't do that for all small businesses. We just, some are treated different than others. I think we need to streamline that a little bit, and we should just say that, let's not take a vote on something until we extend to the person involved the opportunity to come and talk to us about what it is, so that we have some information. I just don't think we should
Let
vote on that at all.
me
based on
refresh
personal-
your memory, if your memory is in fact dull. When he was going to put a diesel tank at his place, that was for the Board of Supervisors, I went to him personally and invited him to come to the meeting and express his concerns and his views and his thoughts about that. And he came. He came here. And he sat and listened to the people of the community. And then he said, they're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I'm going to withdraw my withdraw my application because obviously the community does not want that diesel tank near the crosswalk where the kids walk. So he was given an opportunity, and when this comes before us again, I will contact him and invite him to come and speak again, just like he did last time. So I think you're in error, Greg, in that we treat different businesses differently. We haven't had that many new businesses that we've had an opportunity to help or to hinder.
It's not necessarily, excuse me, Cliff, but
Yes.
it's not just the business coming in, I don't think. I think it's actually the building of a building that doesn't meet our
Area plan.
area plan, yes, right, Mark.
Well, we didn't really know that, did we? I mean, at the time, we just.
Well, we don't even have any information on that at all.
That's why we didn't
That's why
vote.
we didn't vote. We don't
That's
know
why we
anything.
didn't vote.
The situation
And
now
you
we're-
said in your email, obstruct. You said that word in your email, that you copied the emails right there, and we did not vote to obstruct it.
Well, it's more obstructions than we were when the Art Center decided that they wanted to expand into the lot next door to them. I mean,
Never even got-
Nobody opposed that, there was no question. We
Never
didn't
even
say,
got
hey, we
to,
want to
we're on
have
minutes,
voices.
Did that
a
come
review,
before
we
the
had a request on
supervisor?
a review
No,
of the
the
minutes.
witnesses have come before the board of supervisors, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to go into who did what, and all I'm trying to give to the community is, I have reviewed the film all the way back, watched it 3 times, and I can tell you exactly, I was standing right there, and I said, I would like to have your permission to inform the supervisors when this comes before them, that we be notified so we can make a comment on it. And I said, if that's okay with you, is everybody in favor of that? Yes, okay. But we did not vote to obstruct it. And that matter is now closed. Okay? Minutes of May 12th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make the motion, we approve the minutes.
Second, anybody? Second, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of May 12th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any negative, and any corrections or omissions that we need to make note of? I'll give you time and we'll hold that open. If you find something that you feel is incorrect in the minutes, you can always come back and take a look at it, okay? Public input. Any person may speak for I've got to do our thing. I'm sorry. I didn't even have to look. I knew her hand was going to be.
Mission statement.
Mission statement.
Oh.
I just have to do it every time.
She loves to speak.
There you go.
The Middletown Area Town Hall was formed to operate as a true town hall, with everyone participating and voting. However, county officials required us to elect a board to conform with other county advisory committees. Our bylaws specify that the board makes decisions based on a vote of everyone present. The board encourages all members to give their opinions and vote on every matter before the assembly.
Thank you very much. Public input. Any person may speak for 3 minutes on any item not appearing on the agenda. Marlene.
I'd like to let everyone know that we're going to have a movie this Saturday night, Mars Needs Moms. So everyone come on down and see that movie. And before we have another town hall meeting, we are also going to have a movie on July 9th. And I believe that's The Borrowers that we're going to be watching that night. So this Saturday night and then July 9th, we're having movies. So come on down.
Thank you, Marlene.
Yeah, right here at the park.
Claude.
I got a few things real quick to say. First of all, received a notice, just in case everybody's forgotten. We got 1 month left if you're looking for SBA support due to the Valley Fire. So there's a couple over on this counter here, a couple of these letters. And if we run out, please let me know and I'll get it to you at another time.
What is SBA?
SBA for loans for losses during the fire and that they support.
Okay, great.
So if you're looking to get help, here's one avenue.
What's the deadline date? Is it
It's
July
a month from, a month left. Let's see, what does it say? July 8th,
8th?
which is less than a month. okay? Somebody can't count in Sacramento.
That's nothing new.
That's nothing
That's
new.
true.
Hey, another thing, you know, it's pretty wild in some degree is after we sit down and things calm down from an event, you start looking at what could have been done maybe better to help the situation, to reduce potential damage during an event such as the Valley Fire and that. And a young lady who is here in attendance today brought it to my attention because I'm in the business of delivering propane throughout the county and other regions, of some of the potentials that could have been done a little bit better. And that's what I'm going to say to that. I have printed out a couple, again, over on the counter for anybody to pick up if you run out or something, or you want them emailed to you. A couple of information pieces. And the biggest thing about propane is, of course, there's no natural gas up here in that. The biggest thing is to keep, despite what people like and think, is to keep the tank clear of debris and that around it. And to that reckoning, an example, Hidden Valley does a lousy job with putting these tanks and hiding them. So you got the boxes around them. They become traps for debris and all that. Of course, wood burns. You're affecting the tank. Keeping the area clean around the tank is better. Letting it be out there, keeping a clear space of grass and that away from it, keeping it dirt 5-10 feet at least is better than letting the stuff burn up to it and go from there. And so just food for thought in the future. Not right or wrong for anybody, but you know, I did have to pick up I'm one of the lucky ones. I've only been in it for a few years, so some of the other guys have to pick up hundreds of tanks. There were also, I've heard some stories of tanks disappearing off the face of the earth. They launched, but simply because of cleanliness, and that could have helped maybe where the tank maybe helped feed damage to the house when the house got damaged or involved or something like that, and the propane's just feeding into it because now the line's severed and it's just feeding. So a couple of things like that. Of course, the first thing too in an event, a lot of people are thinking other things than walking out and shutting that valve off, those kind of things. So all that is part of the planning ahead in the future, and hopefully we never have to go through it, but it's better to plan for it than to go through it. So there is information up there, and if you have questions, I don't care whether I'm your supplier or not, please feel free to contact me and I'll do what I can to help inform you. So with that said, I'm done.
Yes, you have a question?
Just a little point of ironic part of that, Claude, just enough, yay or nay. I had lattice around my propane tank, the only thing that lived was my
Propane tank? Yeah.
Everything else burned down.
Everything
But I
wrong.
turned it
But
off.
Linda turned it off before she left,
Right.
so.
They're
And
just-
that's ironic. I mean, it's just one of those things, it's like, why did things burn like they did?
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Ma'am, you have yes.
I know this.
Going around this way.
I know what he's doing.
I guess it would just make sense to add on to Claude's story because he and I had talked offline significantly about it. I came to the Valley Fire area because I knew that there was going to be lessons for us to learn from each other and legacies that can be shared with other communities in the event of another disaster. And when I did my initial mailing in October, that's when I found out about a Hidden Valley survivor who witnessed what happened in the ranchos and never left. And so he had some really good suggestions about propane safety, and that was how we engaged in conversation. And it's true that Hidden Valley does not have very good guidelines regarding fire safety on that count. They are looking at it now, and there will be some revisions to that. But I think that there probably needs to be education community-wide about propane safety because people just have it sitting in their backyards and they really just don't understand how these tanks function or what they can do. Like, for example, I didn't know that a full propane tank is a safer tank. And so that's something that will be part of the educational piece that I hope to do later. With some community support, and there's some other facets that I think would be very valuable to all of you. There's also been some talk on a separate note about Neighborhood Watch and some interest in doing that. But it's like herding kittens because everybody's trying to rebuild and has many things going on with their lives or think, I don't need to worry about it because it probably won't happen to me. But there has been some interest. We tried to set something up during the month of June, but decided to wait to continue the conversation after elections and see about maybe organizing something again as a community. So happy to help support that if we can get some key people together and help make that happen. So,
Thank you.
all right.
It's Boris?
In addition to, there was a benefit for Valley Fire survivors at Eli Stage Top on Saturday as well. That's earlier in the day. It goes until 7 o'clock at night. Eli Stage Top is on, it's a blues concert or blues benefit with lots of different performers. And David Neck is going to be playing with several of the groups.
So that's this Saturday?
This Saturday, $15. So they were.
Is this public comment now?
In the back. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Dwayne Harper. I'm a member of Middletown Merchants, and on our agenda, we have the recurring topic of an archway going across Highway 29, entering into Middletown. And it's been pretty quiet. We haven't been talking about that very much, often being overshadowed by issues with the fire. So we'd like to bring that up to MAP and see if that is still a consideration. If people are interested in seeing that. Personally, I love the idea of it. Towns that do have an arch, I think it adds to the charm, especially small towns like ours. So just like to throw that out and see what interest there is, and if there is, I could say from my position at Harvesters, we'd be happy to spearhead that as far as helping with fundraising and try and drum up community support, both from local merchants and from the general populace of the community, to try and see if we can make that happen. It would be pretty cool for Middletown as we recover to have something like that. And that would be something that would last for a long, long time.
I talked to Caltrans about that arch.
I think I first heard about it here at a MAP meeting from you, but
It wasn't my original idea. I don't even remember who got the idea. Maybe it was Marlene or somebody. I don't remember. But I did check with Caltrans, and their big concern was you can't just think about it from the standpoint of pavement to pavement. You got to think about edge of right-of-way to edge of right-of-way and the height and all of that, and it gets pretty massive. It's going to depend on where you want to put it, where the right-of-way is, how big the right-of-way is, how big the roads are, and so on. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with it at all. The important part of it is where do we want to put it? Are you going to interrupt me or what?
I want to talk about the arch. Don't
No, I won't. I'm just responding. So I think I don't have a problem with an arch. It's a big project.
right, it is a big project.
It's a big project, and it's going to take all of us, everybody in town, all the supervisors and everyone else pulling in one direction to get it done. Linda?
Tina at the Middletown Florist did a lot of research about the arch. She had gotten permission of where it could be. I'm probably pretty sure that everything got burned up in the fire, but at least she knows who she talked to with Caltrans to get the information that she needed to get it started. Her biggest, and she even found an engineer that would give us a good break, but it was expensive and there was no way to get that all together. So Tina would be the one to get a hold of, because she did do a lot towards that project.
Would it be worth having Caltrans trying to invite them in?
I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Jim Shoup's the right-of-way agent, and Kai, I have a very good relationship with him, he already knows about it.
Yeah, he knows.
And so.
I've talked to him.
We're, the Caltrans issue, it's not a problem within, it's just a problem with money to do it, because it's a big project. We need to pursue it.
big.
It's a great idea.
It's going to be big.
I heard something, and correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere $75,000 or $80,000 is a budget for it.
I don't know the.
I don't know whether that would
Anderson
handle it
Springs
or not.
one was about 45,000.
I beg your pardon?
Anderson Springs.
Yeah,
That's very different.
but that's different because Joe donated all his time.
And what I'm saying is it was 45,000.
Yeah.
For that.
So 75 is.
I think we're way short. I think you'll spend $50,000 in concrete just to hold the thing down.
Well,
That's what I think.
How much
Willet's
did
one
Willett
is a
spend?
former one from Reno.
Yeah.
It's the biggest little city in the world, and it's in there. I think they got it free.
Would the body like to put this on the agenda, this arch on the agenda to talk about it
I would.
down? Okay, then I'll put it in for July.
Also, Wayne, I wanted to tell you that Tina had tentatively the spot, and it was going to be where the medical clinic, got into the medical clinic,
No good,
to where Harry's, that property.
no good.
She- Why?
Too close to town. Are we always gonna have that be the beginning of town? I don't think so. I think it ought to be out. And we ought to, I keep saying, in my opinion, we ought to keep trying to include the rancheria in the town. And we should move it out. And I didn't even like where we put the entry signs. They ought to be moved out. If you put it at Perry's Deli, that's the beginning of town forever. So,
Some towns, though, have their arch in the middle of their town.
Willett is in the middle of town.
Okay, let's
It's
put it
not
in the middle of
beginning.
town.
I mean, there are
Big
different options.
Caltrans
would
will
be nice.
dictate that.
In Middletown?
Yeah.
Middletown.
In the middle of Middletown?
what?
Would be nice.
All I know is we tried to get a banner for Middletown Days one time, and I thought, my goodness, all we want to do is stretch a banner across. And Caltrans wanted to get structural engineers to find out what the buildings were that we were going to hook it to and how it was not easy, folks. So, anyway, yes, Morris.
Team Lake County is meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the event center. And this is the recovery group that's to help and fulfill unmet needs.
Good.
The Lake County, what am I? The Middletown Arts Center has a camp and classes this summer, and there's always scholarships available, partial scholarships available for those that are in need. And then I won't be here in July to come to the meeting, but in August, we're doing something called Community Works, and we're going to offer free classes for 2 weeks from about August 8th to the 22nd, pretty much as we can during that time. And then on the 27th, we're going to put the works that people make up on the wall in the gallery and have an opening reception like we do for the artists on the 27th, free of charge for the community. Oh, and Echo Arts, the Echo Arts will be up for Middletown Days, but we're going to have the opening on the 25th together with our next opening, which is called Multilingual.
Beth?
Middletown Luncheon Club meets next Wednesday, and the speaker is Catherine Stone, who is our new superintendent for the Middletown Unified School District. We always have the superintendent speak in June, and this will be her first State of the Schools address to us. And it takes place right here at the Senior Center, lunchtime, noon to 1, and you need to make a reservation with the Senior Center.
And $5 for lunch.
And it's only $5 for a great 3-course lunch. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
any other public comment? No other public comment? Go ahead, sir.
Bruce Bowers. I'm going to leave these up here, but I'm the flyer. But I'm doing just started in the early stages of writing a documentary book on the Valley Fire, and it's going to be a several-year, maybe 3-year project. But I've already done a number of interviews, Top Mountain, in Valley Lake, and I haven't, and got some lined up in Middletown, and I welcome a lot more. That's going to be maybe even the hardest part of doing this book, is getting all the stories from everybody in, including CAL FIRE and the sheriffs.
Don't forget FEMA.
And FEMA.
Yeah, please forget FEMA.
Supervisors.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Are you going to leave your flyers here somewhere?
Yeah, I'll be.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Good. Linda, go ahead.
Yay, it's my turn. I just wanted to let everybody know that the Valley, what is it, Neighborhood Watch, Lake County Neighborhood Watch signs have been approved, and they needed an organization to put funds through, and the Middletown Area Merchants Association was kind enough to be that group. And the checks are, we have one already, we're getting the other one, and we're going to prepay for them. And we'll have Neighborhood Watch signs that'll say Lake County Neighborhood Watch, and they're entry signs to the areas. And I got enough for Cobb and Anderson Springs and Middletown, so that when people drive in here, they're going to see that we are a Neighborhood Watch community, and there's been great success just with that and keeping down people stealing things.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. to the
Anything
merchants.
else? Anybody else? No? Yes, go ahead.
First, on the signs and banners in 1983, I was very involved in the merchants. We had Christmas in Middletown. We put a sign across from Building with Boar's Breath is to the hotel,
Yeah.
and it wasn't high enough for trucking it.
That's
Didn't really do any damage. There was a major storm and it sagged.
That's what caused the
So
problem.
we really weren't well engineered. We just did it. But anyway, Middletown Pool will be opening on the 22nd. There's been for years now.
June? Of June?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
And lifeguards have been an issue. Lars Ewing is now the director of public services. Lars and I had quite a discussion about this, and lifeguards are not a problem. They're going to be recruited. I went to City of Lakeport, actually they had 10 for high school kids. And there are going to be kids that are doing it to supplement the lifeguard that's there, and some county parks fellows are being trained to be lifeguards. They are not going to be the first ones. They're going to be, if there's a problem, they're going to be there. And I also requested, and I had gotten full approval, that school starts on August 10th, so we have basically a month of real hot weather that still is open on weekends through Labor Day. And that happened last year, but we're not going to have the lifeguard getting sick and having an appendicitis and someone out there cheering and saying the pool's full. That's not going to happen.
Good, it needs to be. Good. Any other public comment?
There's one right here.
I have one more. I wanted to say that Lake County Rising is the organization that went through their process and had their board vote to see if it was a worthy thing to fund. And so I wanted to make sure everybody knew that Lake County Rising are very careful with their funds, and they make sure it's something that's going to help the community. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay. No other comment. I'm going to close the public comment and we'll get back to the agenda. Agenda item 4, report on Dollar General. Before we open for discussion on Dollar General, I have to tell you that I was notified that we would have the appeal heard June 14th, and that's why I put this on the agenda, so that you would have an opportunity to comment. But we received notice that it's been put off till July 19th. So we will put it back on the agenda in July for discussion.
Why is it getting appealed to?
Board of Supervisors.
It will come up as an item as it was scheduled. Immediately will be announced that it will be reheard, that it's rescheduled to July 19th at 10 a.m.
Now, there's no appeal after the Board of Supervisors makes its...
Court of last resort. That's it.
That's it, okay. So maybe we will get an end to this, good or bad, I don't know which.
One way or the other.
You have a question, ma'am?
Yeah, I guess it would probably be useful to mention it about the neighborhood watch, because some people might not understand, since I was not here prior to the fire, why I would be interested in supporting it.
We're not on Neighborhood Watch, we're on Dollar General.
Okay, is it gone to the agenda?
Yes, we're on the agenda now, we're no longer on public comment.
Okay.
So, if we have time, we can come back and do that, that's not a problem. But anybody else on Dollar General? I don't know whether we need to go through the whole thing again, Lisa.
So that's one of my questions. So are you gonna do like a thumbs up, thumbs down again next time?
I'm going to ask if the vote is changed. if the feeling of the body has changed from the last vote. If not, then I'll go back and tell them exactly what I told them the last time, that 95% of the people were opposed to it.
Well,
Based on that it didn't follow the area plan.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on that, people just keep coming and coming and coming, and it's kind of like, our voices that have been spoken up until now, we'd like to count for something too. We'd like them to count for a lot. I mean, I voted.
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, I mean, so we can use me as an example, because I won't be here in July, because I have to go visit my parents. And so, I kind of planned my summer, actually, with taking into consideration that there would be an appeal now, and there isn't. And so, my voice won't be heard. I can write letters, but it won't be heard here in Math, and I won't be able to make it to the meeting either. And I think that there's a lot of other parents who might be out of town because it's summer vacation, and a lot of our parents come here because they can't go to the Board of Supervisor. It's too far. And, and it's like I've come many, many times to speak my opinion about this, and yes, we love those.
Me too.
So I just would like, from my point of view, I would like the appeal that was moved to be moved into August, personally, so I could be there. But of course, I don't have that power, because I'd like to participate in the...
And we have nothing to say about the...
I understand. I'm just saying that, that I just, with all due respect, I hope that you will respect the fact that many of us have come over and over and over again to voice our opinions, and we may not all be available.
I will say this once again, that I will reiterate to the Board of Supervisors, unless something dramatically changes at the next meeting, that the vote was like 95 to 5, opposing it for a number of reasons. And I didn't go into the reasons because they were so varied, it would take an hour and a half to explain all the reasons, but I did explain to the commission that the Math group was opposed to it.
Yeah.
And I will say that again at the supervisors meeting.
Okay.
I'm obligated to do that.
Yes.
And I will do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any need to talk about Dollar General? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would assume that Dollar General people are going to propose mitigation measures to address the objections that that cause them to get shot down. And I was just wondering if we're going to be able to hear what mitigation measures are before we, just reiterate the same response that we gave last
Bring
time.
up to date, when this started, I don't know how long ago, it was a year ago, they had their basic box with all the parking in the front and things set in the back and so on. And through the input from all of you, they have changed the design of the building. They've changed the location of the building on the lot. At the planning commission meeting, I personally said, when I was making personal comments, that I was not satisfied with the one side of the building because it was just plain. And the people from Dollar General said, well, we can handle that. Our problem is that it doesn't meet the area plan. That's the issue. The issue for the Board of Supervisors, in my opinion, will not be whether we think Dollar General is a good company, bad company, sells good junk, bad junk. That's not going to have any effect. I think our issue should be, if it doesn't meet our area plan, then we'd like for them to either reject it or make them meet the requirements of our area plan. So that's where it has been modified, Hank, several times.
Yeah.
They've changed the location, they've changed the configuration. Now, whether it's satisfactory or not, that's up to you to decide. Yes, sir.
Do you know, or maybe Jim knows, will they, and speaks to what Hank was asking, I think, will they come with a different proposal to the board than they took to the planning commission?
I don't know
I
that.
don't know that until we see it, because
So they appealed it, I'm just wondering if they can only appeal what they already proposed, or if they can make changes and then appeal.
Right.
And I think that's the
They- actually,
point,
they can
is
make
what if they have these other things they want to do to satisfy us, but we didn't have a chance?
there have been multiple times when something was appealed from the planning commission
Right.
to the board of
I
supervisors,
was wondering about
that they
this-
were
this
greatly
individual.
changed. That can happen.
But same as what Hank's saying, is like, if they say, okay, well, look, we addressed all these problems, so board of supervisors, you should approve it, but yet we in Middletown haven't
Our
had a chance to see
problem,
it.
Mr. Rosenthal, is that when it gets to the Board of Supervisors, even if they modified it, we're not gonna have any time to come back here and say, okay, what do you guys think about it? You know,
Well, that's the question.
that's the problem.
Right.
That's a big problem.
We just have to trust that our board of supervisors knows our area plan and they're gonna go by that. That's why we have them.
When's your math meeting in July?
Second Thursday, I don't know what date that is.
The 14th.
Which is before board meeting. You could invite whatever cross-development,
Cross-development.
and whether they want to come and make the same presentation they made several times, or they want to...
We can do that if that's your wish, or we
Be up
invite
to
them.
them. You invite them and find out.
I think we should, so that if they actually have made changes that the board may vote on, at least we have a chance to
You
say.
got a chance to express
Yeah, that they're not
Whether we like the
support or
changes or don't.
disapprove, whatever.
Yeah.
The board might assume that, oh yeah, they did what Middletown group wanted, and so, okay, but, you know, if we haven't seen it, we haven't.
No, we have not seen it, and
I've not seen any.
I
don't know.
think that I can invite Crosspoint here. I know the guy, he's always been willing to come talk to us. As a matter of fact, we were washing our hands together, and we were talking about changing.
I don't know where we were watching our hands.
I didn't say anything about it anywhere. I said we were washing our hands together. And we were talking, I said, you know, there's some changes that need to be made. And he said very clearly, we're willing to make whatever changes that you want, providing it's economically feasible for us, and changing the exterior is not a big thing for us.
Right, but the location might be.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm just telling you what he said, so. All right, so, Ben,
I would request that they make a presentation in July.
I've got him on the
Just
agenda.
request for them to come.
If they don't come, okay.
I was
Yes,
just wondering if there were other parts of the area plan that Dollar General does not meet besides exterior,
Many.
look. What are the other things? 'Cause
no,
That's not true.
No.
It's pretty much.
No, there's many
There
aspects.
is absolutely none.
That is not true.
That
I
is
read the
absolutely-
plan and I came up with lists this long of how it doesn't meet
That's
the
great.
plan.
You came up with your list.
It
Here's
is
what
not
the plan
similar
does.
to the neighborhood that it's adjacent
Again,
to.
that's the design review plan, okay?
That's chapter
There are
7.
Right, there are certain things they did not meet. They surprised us at the planning commission with something similar to what they did up in Wheat we'd never seen, okay? But it still did not meet the design review of how the placement on the property should be
Right,
and the facade.
right.
That is it.
No,
From
it's
there.
the location as well.
The location is.
The sidewalks,
They gotta do all that stuff. That's part of the design review again. Again, it's part of the design review. As far as the business itself, the property is zoned correctly, and from there, there's not a whole lot you can say other than the design review.
I don't agree with you, Claude.
Okay.
Even
This
Joe,
isn't the time
even
and
Joe
place.
This-
knows
this is
that
not-
other things.
let me point out something to you. These buildings do not meet the area plan. Wait,
Hang on.
they don't have sidewalks. They don't have sidewalks down here. So we can't just say Dollar General is the one we're going to make.
This has a sidewalk.
It was there before.
Look, the plan, read the plan again, and then look at this building, because the plan was adopted before this place was built. Beautiful building, beautiful park.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It
fall
talks
one
about big
iota.
boxes, it talks about neighborhoods,
big
it
box.
talks about, it says no big boxes.
What's a
It
big
says-
box?
It says, Dollar General is a big box.
What's a big box?
No, it
It's
isn't.
a big boxy store. It talks about, listen, you know,
Okay.
Oh my God. All right.
We're
We'll have
we're out of order. We're out of order. We're getting back in order. Okay, so I will invite Crosspoint to come in July and have them bring, and I will tell them, we want to see all your latest revisions and all the mitigation that you've done to take care of the problems that we've had with you. And then we can all sit down and say, yes, they've done a good job, no, they've done a good job, and all of that, okay? So we're gonna close Dollar General. There's not much we can argue all night about it.
just read the plan, read the design.
Number 5, report on Middletown cleanup day. Marlene?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Fletcher, Linda, and Margaret for helping with the cleanup downtown Saturday morning. We were down pulling weeds, picking up garbage, pruning suckers off trees, and cleaning up the town. And I just want to say thank you to Fletcher, Linda, and Margaret for...
Sorry I wasn't able to make it on Saturday.
Yeah, that's
I did
fine.
my meeting.
Yeah.
It was fun, and it's something I look forward to every year.
Yeah, but it would be nice if more people came to help us so we would have less work to do.
That's okay. We have
had a lot
some
of work.
awards to make tonight.
But, so to that with Marlene, because I know I saw the email was like the day before that came out to notify that about, so there wasn't enough time to work it into a schedule.
It was,
We talked about it on the prior.
yeah, we talked about it at the last meeting.
Yeah, that was just a reminder thing
Oh, okay.
that the email was.
You weren't paying attention.
Apparently not.
Anyway, I have some awards to make tonight. They're just verbal awards, and
Is it on the agenda?
I'm putting it on. So,
Breaking the rules.
yeah, I'm gonna break the rules. Some of the businesses did a remarkably good job. I want to highlight the Art Center. Last year, we spent an hour and a half trimming their trees and all of that. This year, they had it all done. It was very nice, and I want to commend the Art Center for having a nice, clean area in front, and that's very nice. That was a good one. The worst ones, the worst two, this is the award for the worst one, is the same ones we had last year, and that is the Mugshot and Nobles. I picked up at least $500 worth of cigarette butts in front of Nobles. It was just ugly. That being said, we had some others that just do a fantastic job. Dr. Seraphin, the dentist, her place was nice. That little business next door to hers was nice. The cowpoke was nice and clean. No, nothing on the grounds at all.
Artisters is nice.
Artisters are nice because they clean all the time. And then the Beulah's, right across the street, they had some friends that came in and cleaned their trees up and all that. So that's nice. It's not a fun thing to do, but we wanted to get it done before Middletown Day. So keep it in mind next year if you can come and help.
And on that day, it was just Fletcher, Marlene, and I. Margaret went the day before, but we were done in a couple hours with 3. If we had 6, we'd be done in an hour. So it didn't take
This year we didn't have to do any painting. Last year we did painting. We painted the curbs and all of that. And we'll probably have to do that next year. The handicap, the green, the red, and all that. So I want to thank Marlene for organizing it.
Yeah,
She did a
Marlene, you did a
fantastic
good job.
Thanks, guys.
Report on City of Hope Building. I have nothing on it. Does anyone know anything about what happened at their meeting at Central Park?
The board meeting in Central
Do
Park?
you know?
Well, I met with one of the people who was...
Your name is what?
Oh, Laura Pimentel.
Okay.
Yeah, my in-laws are getting a home built by Hope City, so she met with us on Wednesday, and from what she told us, the Central Park Association agreed to have it put at the old senior center, and that she dropped the permit off up at Lakeport, and then I guess from there, they then do the permit, or they send the notice out to all people in that area, so...
And we'll get a notice because there's gonna be some public comment.
It's a major use permit. so-
Yeah, major use permit, yeah, so she said she dropped off the paperwork for that, the association agreed to it. Again, I wasn't at the meeting, this is what I was told,
I was at the meeting and it was agreed to.
That's agreed to.
so that's just what I heard.
So they're in for a major use permit. Tom,
I have a question.
ask me anything you want, but
How come when the board of supervisors was gonna put it out in the park, they didn't have to have a major use permit? Now that it's being put in Central Park, or if they wanna put it in Central Park, there has to be a major use permit.
I can tell
What's
you,
the difference?
I can tell you exactly why. The Middletown Trailside Park was created by the legislature of the state of California, and they're the ones that granted the exemption.
Oh,
That's,
thank you.
Yeah, Kevin Cox, who is with City of Hope, indicated that it is out for review. It's gone out to the different departments as well as the neighbors group.
for what? The major use permit?
Yes.
We have not been notified.
this is the departments, public works, special districts, fire department.
And then we usually get noticed. We should be noticed.
Should be.
Yeah, I think she said it was like just dropped off last week, it
Oh.
it
So it
was
wouldn't-
just
it
dropped
wouldn't
off
be out
recently.
yet. The departmental review, I don't remember how many days they have to.
I think we wanna be notified.
So
All right.
Trailside Park is now completely out of the picture.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'm going to exercise my right as chair to make a comment. And I'll shut up if you all vote for me, shut up. Okay.
You shouldn't have asked for that.
You know,
Number 6.
we had a meeting on that Trailside Park and all of that, and a lot of people said, that's done. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. But it proves that you, all of you, can stop anything that the county government wants to do if you just make up your mind that we're going to stop that. And by golly, you did. And it just took a big effort on everybody's part, and everybody stood up and made their voices known, and the supervisors listened. So, good on you. Okay, item number 7. Proposed bylaw amendments to all board members. Okay, proposed bylaw amendments to have all board members be elected from districts. Linda Hill Darns.
Woohoo! I'm on the agenda.
Time's up.
Raise your
Yeah,
hand.
time's up. One of the things that's changed since we did this is that Cog Mountain has formed a municipal advisory committee themselves. And so one of the things that would need to be changed in our bylaws, because that would have been one of our districts, is to change our boundary to maybe Socrates Mine Road this way, and Socrates Mine Road up that way would be the Cog. Because I want to make sure that we're not usurping their, because right now we're South Lake Fire, and we go clear up to Loch Lomond. And if they're having their own group, I think that it's important that we respect that. So that's just my opinion, but that's one of the things that would need to be changed. And when we first started MAP, we had districts. We had Butts Canyon Road to the county line was a district. We had to the county line south of town by the Rancheria, that way was a district. There were 3 members in Middletown, and there was a COG member and a Hidden Valley member. And so we seem to have a lot more people that come regularly. Before, we had to change our bylaws because there weren't enough people participating for the different areas to represent. And so I was thinking it might be a good idea to revisit that, and we could maybe change the districts, not have them the way they were, but make it so that not everybody's from Middletown on the board. And, you know, board members, we sit up here, but we don't have any more say than anybody else out there. But I think the advantage to having somebody in a district is that it allows the people in that community to talk to their representative, to bring things if they can't come. So it's just a thought, and I asked Fletcher to put it on the agenda, and so it's really at the pleasure of the group if it's something that people are interested in looking at.
Okay, I'm going to separate, if you don't mind, Linda, the two issues. One, what are we going to do about the boundaries? Because changing our bylaws in that regard is something different than just amending bylaws to bring it back to the way it was. And I have a lot of questions about Cobb and their having a town hall, and I'm not opposed to it. I just want to make sure that that we understand the ramifications for us withdrawing from all of the South Fire District. Jim?
Well, possibly the logical line of demarcation would be the supervisorial district, which happens to be Socrates Mine Road. Socrates Mine North is District 5, South is District 1. All of Bog State Forest is in District 1. There aren't any voters out there. But a portion of Gifford Springs Road is District 1, which realistically, you might keep that in. If it's going to be Cobb, and it's their advisory to Board of Supervisors, it should advise to the supervisor of which district they reside in at that point.
Now, on the other side of that thought is, it's over time, since I've been here, only the 6 years that I've been around in this area, we've had people from there come and some that don't.
Right.
Do we change the amendment to take it out? I think if they want to form, and I know those people are all very good and nice people in that, if they want to have their town hall, that's fine, great. Do we necessarily change ours? No. If people feel more comfortable with coming here and bring it, by golly, I think they should be represented.
They should establish it and request it and then work it out between the two.
Right.
It should work.
And they would go before you to become municipal.
Well, yeah, they're established by the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, wait, let's stay on. Okay, Boris, you have
Has it been agendized for the Cobb? No. Okay.
Okay.
Lucerne is doing, North Shore is doing it,
Right.
Cobb is doing it. Neither one of them have come across the agenda.
Right.
But that's not true. North Shore was for them to begin the establishment, so that did come back. Cobb,
It's still being discussed.
it seemed to me that was included, but it wasn't even on the agenda.
Okay.
COP is having a meeting tonight.
To form
Their
their-
meeting started at 6 o'clock.
It's, as far as the Socrates Mine Road line, I think if Cobb goes forward, I think we should, the MAC should adjust, our math should adjust their boundaries so that it's not unopened.
You don't want to be in competition.
Correct. Well, it's, yeah.
You know, it isn't
Conflict.
It's conflict. You don't want to be in conflict.
So
In my,
after that is decided, then I think we need to go back to the discussion of districts, and until that is decided.
just leave it the same until
Right.
it comes back here.
I would suggest that, yeah, we leave it as it is, but I think that it would be really nice if it was on a different day, so that a member of that organization, that meeting group could come and participate with us, because our kids all go to school together, for example. Our transportation system, although it's not ours here, it's the same one. I mean, everybody drives through here. I don't know, what do you think, Dwayne? You're from Cobb?
It's interesting because there are certain aspects of the communities that are very different. And as a result, sometimes representation doesn't get down to Middletown. And the events that are happening, for instance, at Cobb, the Hoburg's mess that continues there. That's something that probably should be discussed in Middletown Area Town Hall, but it's really specific to Cobb. So I can see the reason folks at Cobb want to organize and work on ways to improve their own community, our own community, since I live there too. Although my personal feeling is that Middletown is still the nerve center of our community, Cobb, Hidden Valley, Middletown. And so it makes sense to me too that Middletown Area Town Hall could represent the Cobb area. But historically, they are two different communities. So I'm conflicted there. I really don't know what would be best.
Yeah, so I would say wait until they establish their group and then ask them if they want to stay in the Middletown group or not. I mean, it's pretty similar to marketing in the wine industry, and we have appellations and sub-appellations. We have a large appellation, then we have a smaller group that wants to work on theirs, but they're part of the bigger picture as well. So I don't think we have to work in conflict necessarily, but maybe it's a boost.
I agree. I think that we need to approach this slowly and not just run off and amend our bylaws and exclude people on the mountain that maybe they don't want to have anything to do with Cobb, Middletown area, or Cobb Town Hall. We don't know. I think we need to wait until they form, then talk to them and see how they're going to run it. You know, a town hall, we went through a lot of growing pains, and we kept two things in mind all the time. We just kept two things that had to be done. One, we had to have credibility. We had to be relevant. And if we go off on the deep end on any subject, then we're not going to be relevant or have credibility. We need to understand what our job is, and that is to provide a forum, a platform for our people to come and express their opinions about issues that they're confronting to the Board of Supervisors. That's our job. That's our only job. It's not our job to judge anything. It's our job to provide a forum for the community to express their concerns and their opinions to the Board of Supervisors. And I don't think we ought to just rush off and amend our bylaws. I agree with you. Yes, go ahead.
One of the reasons why Cobb is forming their own was, of course, because in the aftermath of the Valley Fire, that's what kind of highlighted and brought to mind that they have a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And so they feel like that's one of the best ways for them to address those issues. And they have an area plan that hasn't been updated since 1989. So as they continue to rebuild, again, they've been severely impacted by the fire. That's one of the reasons why they're starting their own.
I think that's great, but I don't want a knee-jerk reaction from us.
Exactly.
Until they get their feet on the ground and decide what they want to do, find out how they're going to operate. We can't just exclude those people that have been coming to our meetings for years and say, no, you're no longer part of our group, you have to go to Cobb. That doesn't seem to me to be the right course of
No, I
action.
think as Dwayne and Dave mentioned or whatever, this is kind of part of the bigger picture here. So, but they have specific needs that they need to address. That's one of the best ways for them to do that.
That's the reason, because of it's pretty specific up there.
Correct.
That's why they're,
That's great. Yes, Marty.
And I don't think that we should just abandon them until they say, hey, we're on our feet and we want you to stay out of our business, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be here for them.
I
don't,
agree.
they're never gonna say, we want you out of our business.
Right.
Specific needs, quite probably it would come to a point where there might be, they might want to send a representative to Math, and
Right.
Math might want to send a representative to their meetings,
Right,
and
so
continue
we
to
can
work
support
together. You
each
have
other.
specific needs that are somewhat separate to their area, but you still work for some of the same common goals.
Right,
Right.
right, but you have them in Anderson Springs too. You guys have different needs than Middletown proper or than Hidden Valley have. And that we should all be supporting each other.
Anderson Springs is a little small to have their own right now.
Well, they have the
Yes, they have the Alliance, they have the homeowners and the Alliance, they have two out there already.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we need to support each other, especially after this, you know?
Well, just for the record, we've never excluded anybody, ever. We've had meetings up on Cobb, and nobody from Cobb came. We had meetings at Hidden Valley, and nobody from Hidden Valley came. So if you want to participate, we've tried and tried and tried to participate with them, and we'll try again. If they get formed up and they get a real town hall and they come to us and say, how can we work together? Then of course we can come back and modify our bylaws to help them. Because that's what we want to do. We want to help them. We don't want to get in their way.
The one thing everybody should be proud of that I've, in the last year or so, because we have had people from Kelseyville sitting here, concerned, wanting to see how our town hall operates. And, you know, sometimes plagiarism is the best compliment you can ever get. And so we ought to be, that the town hall in its format is a very nice thing for the counties.
So Fletcher, can we visit this once we know from Jim that they put in for municipal advisory?
I think once they get formed and they're approved.
If I can make one comment. Jim Steele, District 3 Supervisor, came to me because he wanted to start it on the North Shore. He said, I want to do it. Here's how you pattern it. And they want to pattern it after ours. Because there's no sense of reinventing the wheel when you got a wheel that's going around and around.
You know how I patterned this? I wrote the bylaws. You know where I got them? Off the internet from Forestville, California. I mean, there's nothing genius. They had a good set of bylaws and it made sense, so I just...
Some of their roads are even the same name.
Yeah, so anyway, I think we'll kind of wait, as Dwayne and Mr. Rosenthal said, and see how they do, see if they get up, and we can put feelers out to them, asking them how we can help them, and so on. So,
But now the agenda item though is about elected,
yes,
proposed
that's right.
amendment to the board members to be elected from different districts.
Yes, I'm
We've kind of
not through with that yet.
Okay.
We still have to face that, whether or not the maker of the motion wants to withdraw it until such time as we decide whether we're going to reduce the size of the town hall's jurisdiction, or shall we go ahead with it?
When's the next election?
January next year. I just wanted this on here so we can have discussion, which is wonderful that we're having so much discussion about it. And I think what Boris said makes sense, is to wait and see once they have formed and it's official, and if they don't want to be a part of us, that we then wouldn't have the COG representative.
That's right.
So we don't really know what districts to do yet, or to even how to do that just yet. Yeah.
One of the things I remember was that we had a large number of board members, and we couldn't,
We couldn't get a quorum.
They reduced the size of the board.
We reduced the size of the board, or then we went to whoever was here on the board, made it. Is that still in place? Whoever was here made it a quorum?
Those present.
Those present.
It's not uncommon for small organizations to, quorum is made up of those present.
So,
as long as you have more than one.
How many do we have now? We have 5, 6, 5?
5.
Okay.
We can discuss that when the time comes. I've been in favor. I tried to get you to do this 6 months ago, and you didn't think it
They
was a
just
good idea.
needed somebody sweeter to present it.
Is that what it was?
I think that the question is, did you want to reduce the amount of people, or do you want to increase the amount of people as part of it, so that you have the representation from all the different areas?
Well, that's what we'll, when we know what's going on with COG, then we'll be able to decide at that point and have discussion about how many we want on the board and what districts do we want, who's here most of the time that would want to represent a district, that kind of thing. I don't know that saying a number right now is something that we can do.
And again, hence, when I first started, we were down at Calpine, and Tom's right, man, there was days there was only 4 or 5 of us in that, you know, we were talking to each other. The catch was, we had, I think, what, 7 districts originally?
There were 7
But
representatives.
to try to get 7 representatives from each district was an armful. So then we came up with, well, we'll give a few to Middletown itself, and then the others from outside. We don't, you know, as long as they were outside of an area, and hence I think we're semi at today.
Anybody else? So what's the maker of the agenda item want to do?
I thought I just said that.
You want to withdraw it?
Yeah, I think that we need to wait until we know if COG's going to.
Note.
But I think, I do believe that we need to amend our bylaws at some point.
Okay. Anything else? That was the last agenda item. Agenda item for July 14th. One will be the arch. That will be a big one. And bike Cross Point. And we'll talk about Dollar General again, because that's always fun.
So it's at least $1 to talk about it, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it for the world. There'll be other things that come up. I know if we hear any more about the Hope City, we'll keep you informed. What else? Middletown Days is coming up. Be sure to support Middletown Days. It's a great event for the community, and we should all support it 100%.
Father's Day weekend. Oh, and support the Lioness Breakfast. It's on Sunday from 8 to 11. You have a great breakfast.
And remember this, Mama is made up of local businesses, and while we don't have all the businesses that we wish we had, we should do everything in our power to support the businesses that we do have.
Yes.
You know, if you can't, if you can spend $3 more for something here and not drive over the mountain, spend the money here. It's
Keep the
money
tax
well
dollars
spent.
here. The tax dollars here.
Yeah, we want to support our local businesses.
Yes.
They're having a tough time. We lost the boar's breath, and we're constantly losing little businesses, and it really hurts our community. So be sure that you buy local. The ranch does. Our ranch buys a lot from harvesters, a lot. And because we feel it's in the best interest of the community to support harvesters and to support the local businesses. So that's my sales pitch for local businesses.
That's your story?
That's
You're sticking
my
to it.
story, and I'm sticking to it. Yes, Margaret?
I was just wondering if we're gonna do any kind of thing about the anniversary of the fire in September as a community.
I'm gonna burn my house down. I had so much fun building this one.
Just for date's sake, the Middletown Arts Center is having an exhibit opening on the 10th, which would be the Saturday that would be, so, and that
I'm
would be...
just curious as a community,
They give
because
some
we
music.
want to get
Just a
together.
sec, just a
Yeah, I'm
sec.
sorry.
That's from 6 to 8,
Okay.
and so we can do other stuff that's like partnering with that, you know?
Okay.
And we'll have
To me, I think
shelter
it's
guard by then,
important
too.
that we get together
Yeah.
as people that,
Well, I think there's got to be some
Still-
type of, Charlie, there's got to be some type of memorial service. We did lose 6 or 7 folks.
We lost
Four.
four.
Let's go up to that.
Well, actually, it's 5, because one is absolutely, totally unaccounted for anywhere, shape, or form. So it's
Oh,
really
it's
5.
five.
It is
Margaret,
Who's that?
the Gibson Museum and Cultural Center is planning.
So you guys are kind of
Yes.
working on something.
Also, I want to tell you that the Moore family is also planning something on the 10th, tentatively with Ron Manudri, having a fun day up at the golf course and having things for kids and free food and that kind of thing. I know that that's kind of in the preliminary works as well.
So, go ahead.
And sorry, and perhaps just as the merchants did after the Rocky Fire, we've never done any, the merchants have never done anything after the Valley Fire.
Yeah.
So to honor, the firefighters or something, because that was a very
Yeah,
successful.
because that's what I was kind of thinking about after the whole thing in the park here with the potluck and everything that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then we had our non-fun, like 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that have come up as a person who does events every 6 weeks at least is like having conflicting dates. And if we could create maybe a little subcommittee or something, or just bring it to Matt, we say, okay, who's having events, and we try and coordinate, then that would be a good thing, so that we know what we're doing and we don't have so many conflicts. If we do it in advance, then people can maybe switch days a little bit or something.
I personally would like to see if we could get together with like the firefighters and OES.
And that was something I believe that they wanted to do with that as well, is to have the firefighters there. And they're looking at the 10th too, because it is that weekend. The 11th is kind of not.
It's not a good day.
It's not a good day. Ron Manudri.
You're talking about up on Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Well, ours is
Marlene,
in the
you had your
evening.
hand up?
Yeah, I was just thinking about kind of adding on to what Lisa was saying. Maybe we could have like a big calendar, maybe posted here at the community center, that would have a listing of everything, and people could say, you know, could come and either write on, you know, what they're having that day, or we could have somebody that's in charge of keeping the calendar, that whenever somebody did have something, they could say, I'm having this on such and such a day, put it on the
We have
calendar.
so many things that are disconnected from
Yes, sir.
each other.
I'd like to offer, I'm John Jensen of Lake County News, and I'd like to offer to let you guys know that we have a free public access calendar on the site. And it's a super easy, it's self-serve, super easy to use, great place to check for conflicts. And please, use it for your events.
And that guy happens to be from Lucerne.
Thank you.
I'm from Lucerne.
It's here. It's important. Our chili cook-off, which is important to me and to the senior center, is the weekend before Memorial Day weekend every year. Every year. We never change it. We never change it. That way people can plan around it. And unfortunately, Middletown days sometimes changes a little bit.
Once every 7
It's
years
always-
it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Father's
always,
Day weekend.
it's always the third weekend, and sometimes.
Sometimes that's not Father's
It
Day.
is.
Once every 7 years.
Third full weekend, the third full week.
The third full weekend of June,
Third
always,
full weekend.
is
Oh,
Middletown Days.
Okay.
Susie just said that she could put a calendar out front.
Yeah.
She'd find a place.
Yeah, we'll find a place out here in the,
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be
You
great.
could be the keeper of the calendar.
And get it on.
And
Good
on,
news.
and on the news.
Yeah, if you put it on the site, see, the thing is, the site's read by around 10,000 people a day. So it's actually a really good free promotion.
What's the access to put something on the calendar, John? How's it work?
Oh, look, all you need to do is register an email address. We don't use it for anything. It's for your own use, so that your access is secure. So if you have an email address registered as a user with any username you like math, you can go ahead and log in and put up free classifieds, calendar items, all kinds of different stuff on the site.
Any other comments from anybody
Online
on
there.
something? Somebody had something else to say. You did. You want to go back through the neighborhood watch thing for a minute?
Yeah, the reason why I was interested in supporting that is because I think it's a natural extension of what's happened with the Valley Fire experience. And what we were trying to do, my friends and I with RVs Without Borders, and we had 24 RVs, 3 that could have been offered. However, we needed to have temporary dwelling permits. The people had to stay in Lake County because we wanted to support the economic recovery. Half of the people were renters, but we've also got homeowners that were underinsured, and they're starting to run out of money now for housing and looking at, a limited budget for the rebuild. Who's going to qualify for these RVs now, and where would they go to help the community is a conversation to be had. I've got a couple $1,000s into this project, an untold number of hours. I have an RV that's available now. What we find after a disaster, as you well know, is that you have community involvement that just skyrockets. You've got media outlets. There's so much attention that's focused on the area. And we finally figured out how to facilitate donations and give charitable write-off status. That took 2.5 months. There are so many different little lessons that, with the lessons that we've learned now, if you have another disaster here, or if one of your neighbors does, if we can successfully package this thing as a community-based solution, you have a real alternative to FEMA. And this is not something that I'm creating a business out of. It's saying, here's this body of knowledge about how to deal with the permits, how to get your charitable write-off, keep people in the community so that they don't run out of money and end up with pre-manufactured homes instead of being able to do stick built or not even coming back at all. Keeping people in the community so we can keep vitality in the businesses and the schools and your tax base.
Okay.
So-
I thought we were going to talk about neighborhood watch.
Okay, I will
So
cut it off there and
because
just
it's getting
say
late
that.
and that wasn't on the agenda. So-
Can I just say this one thing and I will cut it off? Because,
All right.
all right. So I'm hoping that we can coalesce before the end of the month and provide a solution to somebody, a Valley Fire survivor that needs an RV. I do have some applications. Otherwise, I'm going to sell this RV and I am going to stop the project.
Okay,
So.
good. Anything else from anyone?
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Maybe, I don't know if you can answer this for me, but I was reading in the Lake County News, which is like the greatest thing in the world, is the number of building permits that have been issued for rebuild for the Valley Fire was really like 380 permits or something like that out of 1,300 homes. Is that the, do you know, is that the total number of permits that were issued, or is that just for like stick-built homes?
No, that's the ones that are in process right now.
In process?
I can tell you, a whole lot of people are not even yet in the process, in the permit
But
process.
that's what I'm wondering is, are they just still like
I know
trying to
people that are
work?
still doing engineering, having
Yeah,
applied
okay, and that
for
was my question is, I don't know what, you
No,
know.
that's not, that's to date. See, that's, you have to have the EH clearance,
Yeah.
environmental health, before you even get in the other.
Yeah, I
So,
understand that.
Those are,
I just,
those
to
are a
me,
lot
that
more.
number was really kind of dismal, because I'm thinking, God, only 300 and something
Very
out of.
slow.
Yeah, it's really, really slow, and I'm just hoping that those people are not leaving.
That's not because the people want to take their time.
It's just, I understand that, I wasn't sure what the, if it was, that was a hiccup, or if it was just an indicator that people are not staying.
I just got that a lot clearer this month. I mean, it takes just as a long, slow process. I was on the list and I just had to wait my turn. And this is since the last math meeting that they cleared the lot.
there's still several lots.
Well, you heard all this big rush in the spring, and I was, okay, so they're anticipating 900 permits, and then it's like you read 384, I think it was.
The Community Development Department will have a new director starting Monday. His name's Robert Mazzarelli, from Florida. His references seem too good to be true, but they all checked out. I will be meeting with him at 8:30 Wednesday morning to tour District 1.
And what department is he?
Community Development Planning.
What happened to, what's his name? No, not Rick. The temporary guy.
Scott De Leon was only taking another hat
So
on.
where did he go?
He didn't go anywhere.
He's still engineering?
No,
No, he's back
no.
to the roads department.
He's Public Works and Water Resources.
He's just wearing one less hat.
Public Works, Water Resources, and he put another hat on that he's getting to take
Public
off.
Works. Okay, well, I just wanted to.
Yeah, he does a good job there. This gentleman,
You know, we're still, I'll complain now.
now,
We're still getting crazy statements from building officials, like, if it has a roof, you have to have a building permit. If, it doesn't matter how many square feet it is, you have to have a building permit. Well, that's not true. You know, unless that's his own personal. And our building officials, the guys that come out in the field, are sometimes insensitive to what's happening.
Inspectors.
Yeah, the inspectors, to what's happening in the community. I mean, you know, me personally, you know, I don't usually talk about my personal stuff, but I'm going to get a garage, and he said, well, these are wrong, and I'm going to turn you down. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, these tie downs are wrong. I said, what's wrong with it? And he said, well, they should be so-and-so. I said, okay, I'll fix them. He said, well, call for another inspection. I said, no, I'm not calling for another inspection. He said, well, I'll red tag you. I said, you've already done that, and that didn't stop me either.
Been there, done that.
So they have to be
More sensitive.
more sensitive to what these people. Nobody knows what it's like to lose everything until you lose everything. You know, I'm sitting on a cot in Calistoga, and I'm looking down. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even have a pair of clean underwear to put on. Nothing. And I've never been like that in my life. I mean, I'm a self-sufficient guy. I mean, you know, so I went over and stole some underwear.
While you were washing your hands.
Were they clean?
Yeah, they were clean. But anyway, inspectors and the county officials have to be sensitive to
Well,
it.
there's another thing, like, it's like you can pose the exact same question to 3 different people, and you get 3 completely different answers, and it was like, what? And then you're speaking a language that I don't understand, and it's just that much harder to try and get through the process.
And Fletcher, I think it's important to also recognize people that did get to keep their homes, went through a lot of stuff and still are going through a lot of stuff themselves.
Oh, of
in
course,
that there's
everybody's
There's a
gone
lot
through
of
it.
emotion, and this was crazy. For everybody.
I think everybody's still suffering from post-traumatic stress. I know I am.
You can say anything you want, Mrs. Supervisor.
What Fletcher was talking about, I can't count how many calls that I've gotten and personally intervened with the chief building official and an inspector on site, and they seem to get a different answer. It isn't right, it's reality. So if you have any problems, you got my phone number. If you don't, it's 490-5480, and I will personally intervene.
5480?
Yes.
Because I kept missing it last time.
Well, I did that on purpose. Yeah.
Okay, it says
Yeah. But I can cite an example of what I dealt with on the phone today. This is a manufactured home company that has been here for 50 years. They know what they're doing. And the lady was up there at the counter, and the person at the counter, who was an assistant something, said, well, you can't have a 1,800 square foot porch on this mobile home. So what are you talking about? Well, 30 times 60 is 1,800. No, that's called a 3060 window.
No.
Oh. So I do personally intervene. I can't deal with directly them, but I can deal with the person that deals directly. Are there some challenges up there? Absolutely. The new software program that we were prepared to approve 6 months ago or 7 months ago did not even come to us till 2.5 months ago. They approved the expenditure immediately. There's the learning curve on it. There have been a lot of changes up there, and there are going to be a lot more, and they're starting Monday morning. Scott De Leon has done an outstanding job of stepping into a quagmire.
Yes.
And he took it on, and he has done an outstanding job.
Part of the problem, Jim, is that the people that were affected, the county's asking them to do things they don't understand. You know, they say you have to have a site map. Well, what the hell is a site map?
What's a site map?
What the hell is a site plan? Well, we got to know this. So they draw it up, they take it in, and say, no.
It's got to be
It has to
engineered
be
now.
engineered, it has to be to scale, and you have to have all the, so they drive all the way back, and so it's frustrating for the people that are trying to get someplace to live. It's very
Absolutely.
frustrating.
What happened with the little mini office that we had here?
It was totally inadequate. They couldn't answer the questions, and the
It was a
software
waste.
did not.
It was a waste of time.
It was a good idea that really did not work. It was an absolute total disaster. We'll take ownership of that. We thought it would work. It did not work. Did not work at all.
Marlene, you have one more
Well,
thing
that
we're
was the
going to
same
call?
question
Oh,
I
okay.
It did not
It
work.
didn't work.
Sounded good.
They
One
couldn't
of the
take money.
dumbest ideas we ever came up with.
They
to be
couldn't
perfectly
take
honest.
money.
Sounds like a good idea.
It sounded like a good one. It didn't work.
Okay, anything else, folks? Let's call it a night. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? All opposed? No? We're adjourned. We stand in adjournment.